Join Kids Hat family. What are you looking at?
At the moon. It looks so beautiful. But Tia, why does the moon shine?
Now that's quite interesting, Tofu. Technically, the moon does not shine by itself because it has no light of its own. It appears to shine because of the sunlight that reaches it. Tofu, let's go home. I'll explain you how the moon shines. Hold this ball in your hands, Tofu, and I'll hold this flashlight in my hand.
Okay, but what do they represent?
The flashlight in my hand represents the sun, the ball in your hand represents the earth, and the mirror on the wall represents the moon. Do you see the mirror shining and that light getting reflected on the ball, Tofu?
Yes.
This is what happens. The moon just reflects the light of the sun, and what we see is the reflection of that light.
Oh.
The moon reflects only 7% of the sun's light and then glows softly. The fact that it glows softly and reflects only 7% of sun's light is that it absorbs most of the light that falls on it from the sun.
Now I know why the moon looks so beautiful.
Now time to sleep, Tofu.
Oh, look there. It's a rainbow.
Yes, a rainbow, Tofu. Can you tell me all the colors in the rainbow?
Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red.
VIBGYOR, that's the way to remember it.
All 7 colors, and it looks so pretty. But how is a rainbow formed?
Rainbows are spectacular rays of color. Sunlight looks white, but it's really made of different colors. A rainbow is seen when the sun shines after the rain.
White light is made of 7 colors. Wow! What's this?
It's a prism. Okay, let me explain it to you with the help of a prism. The sun forms a rainbow when white light passes through raindrops. The raindrops act like tiny prisms. When sunlight passes through a raindrop, it bends and scatters into the band of colors. This can be reflected back to you as a rainbow.
But where do I look for a rainbow?
You need to remember 3 things. First, it must be raining.
It must be raining.
Second, the sun must be shining.
The sun must be shining.
Third, you must be between the sun and the rain. Okay, Tofu, now let's enjoy watching the wonderful rainbow. I know, Tofu. Deserts are hot. Why don't you keep yourself hydrated by drinking water?
But Tia, don't our camels need water too?
They do, Tofu, but not as much as we or other animals do.
So you want to say they can survive without water?
Yes, camels can survive up to 10 months without a sip of water, given the fact that they get sufficient moisture from green vegetation and dew.
How is that possible?
Do you know camels can store water?
Yes, they store water in their humps.
That's not true. Camels typically live in deserts where there is scarcity of both water and food. A camel's hump is a huge lump of fat which can weigh up to 80 pounds. This hump allows it to survive for up to a period of 2 weeks without food, but the hump has nothing to do with water.
Oh.
So it's not true that camels store water in the humps.
So where does he store the water for such a long time?
A camel can drink up to 40 gallons of water in just 15 minutes. They can conserve water by managing their body temperatures. When the camels drink water, this swells up their red blood cells in an oval shape, which gradually keeps their body hydrated. The following 3 mechanisms help the camel to survive in extreme conditions of the desert. Camels rarely sweat in summers.
Camels rarely sweat in summers.
They lose less water in urine, which is in form of solid crystals.
They lose less water in urine.
Lastly, they have thick-skinned coats that can keep their body cool.
They have thick-skinned coats.
So, Tofu, what 2 things did you gather from our conversation?
1. That camels don't store water in their humps. 2. That water gets stored in oval-shaped red blood cells.
That's absolutely right, Tofu. You learn quite fast.
I can't see anything, Tia.
Wait, I'll look for the torch.
Oh, thank God. But Tia, why is it that we can't see in the dark and only in light?
That's because, Tofu, in order to see, the eyes must receive light, and darkness is the absence of light.
I didn't get you, Tia.
Most of the objects we see around us are visible by reflected light, reflected sunlight, or reflected artificial light. You are able to see these objects because light reflects, and this reflected light is what becomes a mirror image in our eyes. Since darkness is the absence of light, there is no light in the darkness to be reflected from chairs, tables, or people to our eyes, and therefore we cannot see these objects.
But we are able to see in the dark after some time. Why is that then?
You have probably noticed that it is difficult to see objects inside a house when you have just come in from the bright sunlight. After you have been in the house a little while, your eyes adapt themselves to the dimmer light and you can see perfectly well.
Oh, thank God! We have torches when it gets dark.
Tofu, are you feeling sleepy?
Nah, just tired. But Tia, what makes us yawn? And why is it so that when I see someone yawning, I kind of feel like yawning too?
Yawning is an involuntary action which we all do. And we all know that it is a feature of sleeping. It is commonly associated with tiredness, stress, and boredom. All vertebrates do yawn, including fish and birds. Human baby starts yawning since they are 20 weeks old.
So how do we do it?
During a yawn, we open our mouth and we suck in a large amount of air and expand our chest. The cavity pulls down our diaphragm and fills air in our lungs and exhales it out. There are a number of theories that attempt to explain why animals and people yawn. As per the physiological theory, our bodies induce yawning in order to draw in more oxygen or remove a buildup of carbon dioxide. A more recent theory explains that we yawn more in the situations where our brain is likely to be warmer. So it's a way to cool down our brain.
Do you know that the average yawn lasts around 6 seconds?
Yawning is contagious. Only humans, chimps, and possibly dogs find them contagious. Recent studies show contagious yawning may be linked to one's capacity for understanding and sharing the feelings of others. So, Tofu, how many times have you yawned while listening to me? I hope not too many. Tofu, are you alright?
Nah, just a hiccup. But why do we get hiccups?
Hiccups are funny ones. Most simple cases of hiccups come after eating or drinking too much or too quickly. You must be wondering where these funny noises are coming from. The part to be blamed is your diaphragm. This is a dome-shaped muscle at the bottom of your chest, and all hiccups start here. The diaphragm helps in breathing. When you inhale, it pulls down to help pull air into the lungs. When you exhale, the diaphragm relaxes and the air flows out of the lungs back to the nose and mouth. But sometimes the diaphragm becomes irritated When this happens, it pulls down in a jerky way which makes you suck air into your throat suddenly. When the air rushing in hits your voice box, you're left with a big hiccup. Do you know that almost all cases of hiccups last only a few minutes? Everyone has their own pet remedy for curing hiccups. Simply holding your breath is often effective.
Tia, is hair also a part of the body?
Yes, Tofu.
And nails?
Yes, even nails too.
Then why it does not hurt when we cut our nails or hair, but it does hurt when our other body parts get hurt?
That's quite an interesting observation that you have made, Tofu. Our body parts get hurt because they have nerve sensations in them. So whenever you get bruised, the tissues and cells in the skin get damaged and nerves send sensations to the brain. But the parts of our hair and nails that lie above the skin's surface are made up of keratin.
Keratin?
Yes, keratin. It is comprised of dead cells of a tough protein. Since these cells are dead, there is no sensitivity in them. Thus, when we cut our hair or nails, there is no sensation whatsoever. Tofu, what are you doing? It hurts.
Sorry, Tia, but you just said hair and nails don't hurt?
That's because both hair and nails have nerve endings just below the skin's surface.
Ouch!
So if our hair is pulled or nails cut too short, these nerves are affected and this could hurt us.
Thanks, Tia. Now I can go and tell all my friends in school about this interesting fact about our body.
Sure, Tofu. You are most welcome. For your favorite rhymes, stories and more, join Kids Hat family. Subscribe here.